Josh from PH Tennis. I'm here today to review the Yonex Ezone 98 Tour. We've already done a video on the Ezone 198 when they first came out, but the Tour is now also available. So the 98 Tour, very similar obviously to the Ezone 98, 10 grams heavier, slightly stiffer, and the balance point has also moved. We're going to get on court as a team of coaches, have a play with it. We're also going to bring the 98 down as well to see really where we can feel the difference between the two. We'll let you know what we think. Okay, so I've just been using the 98 Tour along with Joe and Javi, and my kind of first impressions were it's actually quite difficult to get on with compared to the kind of normal Ezones, other Ezones, the 100, the 98. I really feel like those sorts of rackets you can pick up and just play with. This 98 Tour took a little bit more getting used to.
With the 98 Tour you do get closer to those precision rackets and the feel that you get from those. So closer to a Pro Stuff, a Prestige. Those rackets that are about precision, that are about controlled power.
I think maybe because I've generally always used 300 gram, 205 gram rackets, so that extra bit of weight does make it a bit more of a handful to get used to. However, because you've got that additional weight and mass in the racket, your swing weight goes up. So as you make contact with the ball, especially when attacking, you do get a lot more from it.
I felt I almost had to like really slow down to get a really good feel of it. So on shots which were easy to kind of get onto and attack, great, because you can get all the way behind it. But stuff where you had to like really get back and defend and whip a shot, not ideal.
One of the Ezone's kind of great things is that its power and control. It's one of the better rackets at kind of balancing those two elements. The Tour is slightly more towards the control than the power side because of that weight distribution, which meant it was great when you're on the front foot attacking and saying you get that extra swing weight as well. However, I found when I was defending on the back foot, returning big first serves, it was slightly harder to use because you didn't get that kind of easy access to power at the top of the frame just to kind of push it back, punch it back.
You do get more control, you do get that beautiful, beautiful sweet spot when you get it right. However, it is slightly more difficult to do so. It's got a slightly smaller sweet spot. So again, like a Pro Stuff, when you get it absolutely right, it's absolutely beautiful and far outplays the 98 for me. However, it's harder to do that. So I think, as the other guys have said, when you're stepping in and you're set beautifully and you can come in and strike that ball, it's fantastic. But on the back foot and getting that easy access to power that I love so much in the Ezone 98, it's slightly more tricky.
Serving, also the additional weight, if you can get it moving, you're going to get that extra pop, but if you struggle to accelerate your serve, then heavier weight is going to make that challenging as well. If you're ever thinking about which racket to use, which weight to use, the serve's a really important part of that. The lighter it is, the faster you can get it moving in your action, the more power you can get. But obviously the heavier it is, the more mass you create. So it's all about how fast you can get that racket going. So on this 98 Tour, I could get it going and I could get some good pop, but it was a lot harder work than if I'd used, say, a normal 98.
Overall, I definitely prefer kind of lighter rackets over to this one.
You have to work a little bit harder to get yourself in the right position to make that good contact. The racket will do less for you than the 98 NP will do. In terms of volleying, it's an improvement with volleying. Because you've got that extra weight in the throat, extra weight in the handle, that different balance point, it feels very, very secure on volleys. Again, like a Pro Stuff, you get real crisp, clean volleys that have a lot of weight behind them because of that extra 10 grams in the racket. The same goes for serve. I'm okay accelerating with this racket and getting enough out of it, and the serve feels great with it. But if you're someone that doesn't accelerate that quickly through your service action, this might be a little bit more tricky, and therefore the 98 is maybe a better shout. I think this is a beautiful racket. I'm a huge Ezone fan, as you may well know, and I'm still undecided whether I will leave my 305 98 MP and go to the Tour, but it's very, very close. It's a beautiful racket.